Where every rapper get killed like pluck, 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 pluck with a knife back. Cut, cut, cut where your life at. Career's over, he slumped over, and then from my beating.
Hey yo, it's Sir Rugga. We back in action. This time around, we got Sir Croc in the building. Sir Croc. But yeah, this time we talking about Sabo and what happened in the last chapter 556. What we seen is Sabo is said to be captured or killed, or is alluded to Sabo being captured or killed. But the hints and clues everyone's missing are that they haven't brought up anything about the admirals like Fujitora, and they haven't brought up anything about the admirals Fujitora and Green Bull, and not like they got in a scuffle, they didn't get hurt at all. We didn't hear anything about them at all either. All we know is that Sabo seen Kuma, and from seeing Kuma, he's losing control because that was his mentor, that was his person he looked up to. In my opinion, Sabo has a bloodlust for the world government. Anyone in the world government, no, I wouldn't even say that. I wouldn't even say everybody in the world government, but anyone that has like nobility or a celestial dragon, he has complete hate for him and the bloodlust because of what happened to him when he was a kid. And I believe all the memories from Ace's death flood back from his childhood, and he remembers when the celestial dragons came to his town and he got struck by a cannonball, and from that on he has a hate towards him. So in the last 2 years, Dragon is just noticing the change in Sabo's behavior. It's probably a hard thing to keep control of Sabo because of all the things that he's been through. In recent times, since Ace's death, it's like been popping up. Like I noticed around the time when Sabo was on Dressrosa, and when he was fighting Vice Admiral Bastille, or what's his name, like Shark Hunter or something like that. His face and his expressions show that once he gets into like a real fight, he loses control and he's out for blood. I feel like it's not even the fact that he was struck, but a fact that he almost died, and the fact that the world government did it to him and he did nothing wrong. It probably struck a nerve that whoever gets in his way, he has to like completely destroy him or completely kill him. And that's a bad thing in the terms of the Revolutionary Army, because Sabo would lose his cool while Revolutionary Army like Dragon is always calm, always collected. And that would mess up the plans going forward if Sabo always loses his control. But we don't know yet. We don't know if Sabo's dead or Sabo's alive. All we know is the newspaper is reporting something bad about Sabo. All we know is from Dadan's reaction and the reaction that Stelly, Sabo's brother, had. And the fact that Garp knows everything that happened at the Reverie and he's not sweating it at all. He knows that Ace and Luffy looked at Sabo as a brother and looked at him as like another grandson because of that. And he shows no remorse, no anger, no nothing. So what I'm collecting from that chapter and those panels is that Sabo got in a fight with two admirals, Green Bull and Fujitora, but it did not end up well for him. In the middle of that, Sama sent out an order to attack Vivi. From what it's looking at, Alabasta was the only option from his choices of bounties and photos that was affected directly at the Reverie. So from looking at that, it looks like Sama ordered a hit on Vivi or a hit on Cobra. Most likely Cobra, because Cobra was talking about the poneglyphs, and that is a big no-no to the world government. We all know that from O'Hara, Robin's homeland. They wouldn't buster call her homeland. Well, they buster called Robin's homeland just to keep the information away, but Cobra directly brought up the information to the world government in front of all the kings. And if that leaked out to the rest of the country and the rest of the world, that would be a bad thing for the world government, because that's their secret they've been trying to keep hidden for so many years. The best thing is to take out Cobra, but at the same time, it's the perfect timing for that, because the Revolutionary Army, Sabo leading, was there, and they could frame Sabo for doing it. Sabo could have been framed for killing Cobra because he was already on alert and on attack mode because of Kuma. So they can say Sabo killed Cobra on purpose because of the information that he knows, or they could have said that Sabo killed Cobra on accident in a crossfire. So most likely Cobra, if they do it that way, Cobra's body would have to be like burnt or something, or like a burn marks or something. I don't know if they would show that. If the world government wanted to be like clever enough, Sabo doesn't have a sword or anything like that, so he couldn't stab Cobra or anything like that. So his his fire fruit would be the only option on that. If he got a panel of Cobra's body burnt up, that would be the perfect alibi for the world government to frame the Revolutionary Army and depict the Revolutionary Army in a bad light, because they already are enemies. They don't want themselves to look bad and have all the kings revolt towards them. So Sabo is basically the scapegoat for that, because he's already on attack mode, and the admirals would have put him in a bad situation, because we would believe that Sabo is around admiral level, but he couldn't beat one of them. So he would be like right hand man of a Yonko level, right above that, where Luffy is right now, but Luffy is about to pass him very soon. So Sabo fighting Admiral, where he's already at a disadvantage, and he's probably, what I believe, he's probably hurt, beaten up, probably like got like injured. I don't know if he's like bleeding out or anything like that, but he probably just escaped. And what I believe, Fujitora went easy on him because he knows the type of person his brother is. He let Luffy go. Sabo is doing a good thing. Fujitora just joined the Revolutionary Army, so Fujitora just joined the world government in the draft of like a year ago. So he's only a new member of the military, the Marines. So what he's observant, and he has his own justice system that he has, if you want to call it blind justice, turn the other cheek, kinda, sorta. What he did to Luffy on Dressrosa. He would flip a coin. If that's blind justice, because you'll know what's gonna happen with that. And once the coin hit heads or whatever he did, he went after Luffy. And Luffy's a good guy, so he let that happen. But if Luffy was a bad guy, he wouldn't have. Knowing that Sabo's Luffy's brother, Fujitora probably gave him the chance to escape or die or be captured by the world government. I'm not saying just Fujitora, but Fujitora would probably stop Green Bull from actually killing Sabo, because Sabo's already hurt. So he stopped him, let Sabo go, because he knows he's a good guy and the Revolutionary Army isn't all bad or not put in a good light, because the world government wants to keep control of everything. That's why I believe Sabo's escaped. He's hurt. He can't answer anything that the Dragon or the Revolutionary Armies are trying to contact him with. So they're scared for him. They don't know if he's dead or alive. The world government was trying to report. They try to report that Sabo is dead, has been killed or been captured, to pull Dragon's hand. Knowing that Sabo is Dragon's right-hand man, or so-called right-hand man. I have another video talking about that. I don't know if she dropped that, but I probably know who the real right-hand man of Dragon is. It might be an ass pull, but it's a what-if story. Most likely could be what's going on. But getting back to it, Sabo's hurt. He can't talk right now. He like probably collapsed. And do we even know what happened to Morley and the other 4 leaders, the other 4 commanders of the Revolutionary Army? We haven't heard from them either. So there's no way in hell that they all died during that invasion. So most likely they all got hurt. Sabo got hurt the most because he's a hothead, just like Luffy and Ace. So he took the foremost blunt of the attack. They had to retreat. And what's gonna happen to Fujitora? I believe Akainu is gonna get wind of it. Yeah, listen. I believe Akainu is gonna get wind of it, giving Fujitora one last ultimatum. He's either gonna fire him or say go after. Well, he already did. Akainu is gonna fire Fujitora because he's tired of him disobeying every order he gives out and letting people go. So this is my theory, or my what if story, what could have happened during the Rev Army and what's going on with Sabo. This is Sir Rugga. How many times Crocodile's been in this video? the greatest warlord, Shibukai, Sir Croc, and Magan.